Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3732. Today's date is November 29, 2025. It's been almost like a night at 9:45 p.m. Alright, there is something happened today, and something happened. It's not something happened, like something I realized today, first time in a life, and I wanted to express that thing. Okay, so before I wanted to start, I wanted to tell you regarding about everything. How do I have a relation between me and porn? Okay, yeah. And okay, this is bit kind of like a simply like my opinion. Probably I'm kind of completely wrong, but this is just my opinion. Okay, opinion are subjective, but I wanted to express myself. Alright, yeah, this artifact is kind of like a let me, allow me, or kind of like a give me freedom to express myself. So I'm gonna do that thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. My relationship with the porn. Yes, I do watch porn. Sometimes once in a week, twice in a week. Yes, I also do masturbate. Okay, yeah. After 3-4 days, yes, I do masturbate. Okay, yeah. Also, I'm telling you, my age is 32. Okay, yeah. And yes, I do masturbate. Yes, I watch porn. Okay, yeah. Now regarding about that, I usually watch porn from website called xhamster.com. Okay, not xham.com, xhamster.dasi, dasi. Okay, yeah. I click on that. Okay, it opened that particular site. First of all, when I open that particular homepage, first of all, I won't be able to open this site on Chrome browser or anything at all. So I usually download Opera Mini. Opera Mini is a kind of like a assembly app where it has its own VPN, virtual private network. So basically, I cannot able to access this porn website through Chrome browser. I just have to download the Opera Mini with VPN enable, then I access this website. Okay. Now, as soon as I enter in that particular website, because this website is a Desi website, it kind of like shows me Indian porn, and I didn't really watch Indian porn. I directly kind of like turn my location into the US. Like, how do I do that? Like, basically you can change the ethnicity from Indian to American, and it kind of like shows you American porn. Alright. Okay. Now, why I did not watch Indian porn? I think, okay, let me give you perspective. Okay. It's not a kind of like something. Every porn is a kind of like a similar. Okay. Yeah. We already knew what is actually happened in that particular porn. Or it's not that something that kind of like things happen differently. No. We know what is actually happened, what is actually process, what is actually steps, what is actually the like performance and things. We already knew what is actually happened. Okay, yeah. Now basically is this thing why I chose to watch American porn is because of that ki American porn are kind of like a bit more like presentable, if I'm gonna say. Okay, yeah. Now first of all, why do I watch porn? Okay, yeah. I watch porn because of kind of like some arousal, kind of like I feel horny, and I wanted to kind of like somebody, let's just say I feel really horny and I wanted to watch porn. So yeah, let's watch porn. Okay. Why I chose American porn? American porn is a kind of like a bit more presentable. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like lighting is good, everything is good. Yeah, it's kind of like a feel natural, but it's somewhat something kind of like a feel presentable. I feel arousal when I watch American porn. Okay, yeah. It's not just kind of like something. I'm not specifically kind of like a showcase to the American porn. No, I'm kind of like a literally focus on kind of like a way that they're presentable. Indian porn are not really that much presentable. Like basically, whenever I watch Indian porn, they are not really good. Okay, yeah. Like they are not really presentable. Even if they are trying, but still they are not really that presentable. The lighting is not really good. The actor and actress and things, they are not really good. Like basically, I don't really feel that much horny while I was watching Indian porn. So I didn't really watch Indian porn. I usually watch American porn or such a porn which kind of like something presentable. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. Now another thing. So this is kind of like a something. I'm being really honest. Okay. I'm kind of like a trying to tell you my perspective regarding about that. Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of like a something porn that I watch. Okay. Yeah. Now you understand me. Okay. Also, I didn't really have Instagram application. I usually access Instagram from Chrome browser. Okay, I shouldn't supposed to come to that. Okay, yeah. Let's come to the point. Okay, yeah. Basically, do you understand what is actually I relation between me and porn? Okay, all right. Now, what is actually happened today? Today, I was kind of like only playing my badminton and things like that. Okay, yeah. Doing my workout and kind of like things. Now, basically, couple of my friends are kind of like a gather there. Okay, yeah. And we are just kind of like a chilling and things like that. Now, two of my friend are kind of like they are something looking at their phone. Okay, yeah. And I wanted to see them, but he says that you will not be able to see. We will kind of like send you through WhatsApp. I was like, yeah, okay. They send me this kind of like a particular thing, a video to the WhatsApp. By the way, at that time I didn't really check it because it's kind of like only that at that time I was kind of like hanging out with my all my friends and kind of like simply just being fun and things like that. Okay, yeah. By the way, if you're kind of like getting this noisy things like that, I'm sorry. There is a band is actually happening is because of something married or things like that. I don't know why. But do you kind of like hearing me properly now? Like let me see the waveform. Yeah. Basically the waveform is kind of like showing very properly. So that's my audio is properly recording. Okay, whatever. Okay. So I was kind of like simply hanging out with my friend. They kind of like sent me this video on WhatsApp. I didn't really see them. Okay, I kind of like somebody is this thing. I had a hangout with my friends and things like that. Then I came home. Okay, yeah. I came home. I kind of like somebody do my kind of like a shower and things like that because every time I came from workout, I usually do shower. And then after that, I kind of like somebody sit in like basically I was kind of like on the living room and kind of like somebody I was kind of like somebody watching what is the video that he was sending. Okay, yeah. I know that that video is a kind of like somebody is just saying that something. Okay, yeah. Okay. Let me give you perspective. Not perspective. Let me give you the context. Okay, yeah. What exactly happened? My friend sent me this video. It's not there's a video, a legit video. They send me a video on WhatsApp. Okay, yeah. Now, what would you supposed to expect in that particular video? By the way, that video in WhatsApp. So basically, is this thing? What would I supposed to be expect? I would supposed to be expect that this video might be kind of like something just thing, little bit naughty. Okay, yeah. I play that video. Okay, yeah. In the starting video, there is a girl, there is a boy, teenager girl, teenager boy. They are kind of like sitting, and suddenly the girl is kind of like adjusting the camera. Okay, and things like that. Like, yeah, and by the visual context perspective, this is Indian. Everything. The girl is Indian, the boy is Indian, the room and everything is kind of like a feel that it's Desi, it's Indian. Okay. Now that video started. Within a 7 second, that boy kissed that girl. Okay, and it's not really that kiss that you kind of like think it is. That kiss is very different kiss. Okay, let me give you what is really different kiss means what. Okay, different kiss means like it's not a kind of like a solely different methodology to kiss someone. No, the way that you look to the kiss. Example, if the girl is kind of like a kissing a boy, and this is kind of like that you are watching on kind of like some sort of television or screen or something, it felt something common because you probably seen that thing in your screen, and that is kind of like somewhat something really common. Okay, yeah. But when you see this thing in real life, you feel very weird unless you haven't really seen a people who actually kiss each other. Then when you first time kind of like seen that particular stuff, that the two person actually kissing each other, it felt little bit weird. Okay, felt something that is something weird. It's not that kind of like they kiss something very differently, no. But you kind of like look at them very differently, so that's why you kind of like feel different. Okay. So this is what kind of like something is this thing. By the way, I actually kind of like seen a lot of people who actually kiss each other on kind of like assembly, not real life, but in kind of like a video or things like that, specifically in porn. Okay, yeah. But in this particular video, that boy kissed that girl, and that kiss was not look like kiss. That kiss was look like real legit kiss, and that's what hit me. It's like, what exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. Now basically, how is exactly different? How is exactly different? Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a different. It felt different. Okay, yeah. It's I don't know how do I supposed to describe this thing. It's a kind of like a same form, a same technique, but very different. Okay, let me give you a thing that key, when you kind of like a face with the reality, you feel very differently. Okay, also give me a perspective, also give me another context so that you might gonna understand me even more better, because like this is the first time I kind of like seen that particular stuff. Okay, yeah. Also, I didn't really have Instagram app. I actually access from Instagram from Chrome browser. Okay, yeah. In the Chrome browser, there is a kind of like a big advantage that I'm getting is that I won't be able to access the reel. No, it's not really that I won't be able to access. I can access, but the experience is not really that much smooth. Like basically in application, the watching Instagram reel is very much smoother, but watching Instagram reel on Chrome browser, it's not really that smooth. Okay, yeah. Also, my phone doesn't really have that much big RAM or big processor speed, so basically it kind of like gives me a kind of like a little bit laggy experience. Okay, if you have kind of like a really good mobile phone with a higher processing speed, then it might be kind of like a shows you really smooth experience. But in my mobile phone, the processing is not really that much smooth. Okay, yeah. And also after a kind of like a couple of reel, like let's just say after a 5 reel, you cannot able to scroll that much because it's kind of like a very laggy experience. So basically I won't be able to access the reel. Okay, yeah. But I could access the homepage of the Instagram. Alright, yeah. So I access the Instagram. Let me tell you one thing regarding about what I see on Instagram. Whenever I kind of like open Instagram, whenever I kind of like seen any kind of like a something kind of like a naughty video or naughty kind of like a things or girl on bikini or things like that, or kind of like something kind of like arouse me or things like that. So what I do, I kind of like click on 3 dots and kind of like say not interested. Why I do that? Because like basically it's this thing, every time I realize that Instagram is a kind of like somebody initial start to kind of like somebody watch me kind of like a porn and then I masturbate and then I regret. So usually what I do is that I just kind of like a block particular account or kind of like a unfollow that particular account or not interested in that particular account. So my Instagram feed is not actually showing me that much kind of like somebody nudity or any kind of like somebody semi nudity, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. Usually in my Instagram homepage, it kind of like shows me some of the content that I love to watch, like basically filmmaking content, or like basically is this thing AI, okay, or kind of like some engineering or kind of like some scientific stuff, or kind of like some how the space and comparison of the planet size and things like that. It kind of like shows me that kind of like a video that I kind of like watch on homepage for a couple of minutes, and then after that, yeah. So basically is this thing, Instagram is not actually showing me that much naughty stuff. So my experience of seeing those particular naughty thing is almost nothing at all. Okay, get it? Now this is kind of like assembly. Before you judge me, I kind of like express myself. Okay, now I kind of like watching that particular video on WhatsApp, by the way. Legit WhatsApp, it's a WhatsApp application. Okay, yeah. I played that video and within a 7-second that boy kissed that particular girl. Now that kiss was kind of like a really weird. Weird means like it's real and it felt like forceful. Okay, like basically it just feel like that the boy, that teenager boy, both like basically that girl and that boy are teenager boy, by the way. And it felt like that the boy actually kissing that girl forcefully. It felt like that. Like it's felt really weird. Okay, because every time I kind of like seen two people are kissing each other, it kind of really feel like that both are enjoying. But this thing is weird. Okay, but by the way, this is very consent. Like it's not really that ki a girl are kind of like somebody not allow that particular boy to kiss to her. No, it's consent. Like basically that girl, that woman is that not woman, that's girl, that's a teenager girl, almost like a 17-year-old girl. Okay, legitly, because of her face and things like that, she's 17-year-old girl, and as also boy is also kind of like almost exactly her same age. Okay, yeah. Okay. How do you know that that video was consentful? Like basically that girl as kind of like I have a showing the consent, because the way that she kind of like simply managing the frame, because she was kind of like taking a video, okay, from that selfie screen, okay, selfie kind of like selfie camera, and she kind of like record the video from selfie camera, and she was kind of like managing that frame that she could kind of like simply seen entirely up to this. Okay, yeah. So basically, obviously she wants to kind of like that video, that means she has kind of a little bit consent regarding about that. Okay, but the kiss is kind of like a feel really forceful. I also expected that this video might be little bit naughty. Okay, yeah. Then I realized that this is just a 7 second, and in this 7 second the kiss happened, and then the video is almost like a 19-minute long video. Like 19-minute long video. Then I kind of like somebody, I have doubt that what exactly is this video. I kind of like somebody put that, like I just kind of like somebody scroll forward, I realized that dude, that is legit porn. That is legit porn. And I was like, fuck, dude, fuck. Okay, why am I kind of like having this over aggressive emotion? No, it's not really that. Okay, it's not really that I haven't really seen the porn. It's something that I am kind of like watching this on WhatsApp, legit WhatsApp. By the way, is this thing, I am not really sure that Instagram, sorry, that kind of like only WhatsApp that you could share porn video. Like, what the fuck is that? Like basically is this thing, like I didn't really heard that anyone kind of like sending any kind of like a porn video on WhatsApp, but probably is this thing because of the kind of like somebody the other website and Instagram and kind of like a Twitter and not Twitter, Telegram are kind of like somebody have policy regarding about they won't be able to kind of like share such a kind of like somebody sexual content and things like that. But I seen that thing on WhatsApp. I was like, dude, what the fuck is that? Okay, now why am I kind of like so much kind of like so much extra emotion and things like that? Okay, let me give you context. Okay, I'm belong to the India. If you not really understand what exactly the context, okay, let me give you context even more better. Okay, I'm belong to the India, and basically in India messaging service are actually happen through WhatsApp, almost 90%. Yeah, like basically in US there is a kind of like some Apple messaging, iMessages, but in India usually messages happen through WhatsApp. Yeah, legitly. And even if there is a kind of like somebody, if you wanted to log in or any kind of like OTP is actually kind of like came on WhatsApp too. So WhatsApp is a very much ingredient important part of our kind of like a Indian community messaging service. Okay, yeah. Now, WhatsApp is so much widely spread in India too. Almost like everyone are kind of like simply using WhatsApp. Everyone are actually using WhatsApp. Okay, yeah. Now, when I see that particular porn video on WhatsApp, I was like, what the fuck is this thing? Okay, because okay, let me see. If I'm kind of like seeing that porn video on, let's just say Twitter, then I would not be that much kind of like somebody over exaggerated emotion and things like that. Because yeah, okay, Twitter is kind of like a showing, okay, Twitter is kind of like a have policy to kind of like a showcase all those porn things and kind of like a somebody, yeah. But from WhatsApp, I didn't really expect that thing. Like this is kind of like a least expected thing, because like basically way that WhatsApp kind of like advertise themselves that they are very secured and things and that and stuff like that. I kind of like realized that WhatsApp is not meant to be kind of like a share some sort of sexual content and things like that. But dude, I am watching porn video on WhatsApp. It is like really fuck up shit, dude. Like, yeah. This is kind of like a very much thing. Okay. Now, this is just my point of perspective. But there is also another thing happened. I didn't really talk about that particular video. Okay, yeah. And I have kind of like a lot of stuff to talk about that particular video. Okay, yeah. Now let's talk about that particular video that I watched, that my friend is kind of like send me that particular video on WhatsApp. Okay, yeah. Now first of all, that video is a porn video. That video, there is a boy at the age of teenager, like a probably 17-18-year-old, 17-18-year-old girl. Yeah, those are teenager, legit teenager. Okay, yeah. And they are having sex. Let me give you the background. Background was kind of like a feel like a hotel room, but very less thing. Like there is a kind of like a bed with a no sheet, and kind of like a feel like that. Ki it's not even a hotel. It's a kind of like a something a room there. Yeah, it's not even kind of like a feel like hotel. It just feel like that. Ki there is a kind of like a back end room that no one actually using in this thing, kind of like a storeroom and things like that. It felt like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, now there is a boy and there is a girl. Okay, yeah, the boy is actually, the way that the boy is actually kissing that particular girl, it felt forceful. It felt a little bit off to me, because every time I kind of like a watch porn, okay, let me give perspective. It's not really that key in the porn there is no kind of like a forceful category of the video. Okay, yeah, let me give you another perspective. When I watch porn, I usually choose American with hardcore. Okay, hardcore or kind of like something with consent or things like that, or passionate. Okay, these are my favorite category to watch porn, because it kind of like a feel like arousal and things like that, and I love to watch those kind of like a category of things. Okay, there is also brutal category too, but I don't really watch any kind of like a stuff, because I don't like, basically is this thing that key. Let me give you perspective. I wanted to watch porn is because of I'm getting arousal and things like that. The brutal is equivalent to a rape. Okay, yeah, it legitly, and I don't want that. It's like it doesn't give me arousal. It kind of like gives me a crime. It kind of like a feel like that I'm watching crime. Whatever. So this is kind of like a porn video that I watch, a hardcore or passionate. Okay, yeah. By the way, some of the hardcore video are also kind of like a brutal too, but still I kind of like simply have a little bit mixture of passionate plus hardcore. It's not really that ki just brutal hardcore. No, I don't really watch that thing. Okay, yeah. But let me talk about that particular video. The boy is a teenager boy. The girl is actually a teenager girl. Okay, yeah. Now basically the girl is actually giving her consent to that boy. That boy kept supposed to be sex with that particular girl, because the way that she kind of like adjusting the camera regarding about does she look really good or not, vagara vagara vagara. Okay, yeah. Now things happen very crazy. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a thing that na ki the first time you kind of like a realization happen in reality. Okay, yeah. Because like this is the first time I kind of like a watch a real sex, because I didn't really watch any kind of like a real sex till now. Like basically I accept that I watch lot of porn. Okay, yeah, throughout my life I watch lot of porn, but Indian porn or any kind of like a real sex, I didn't really watch that thing. And this is the first time I kind of like watching that particular video, a kind of like a feel that it's a legit real sex. And real sex is not a kind of like a passionate or things like that. It's a brutal, it's a mess, it's not good thing. Like basically it not kind of like a gives you kind of like arousal and things like that, or kind of like a sexual and horny. It's not really that. When I watch that particular video, I just feel like that, dude, it's not really good. Okay, yeah. Now that particular boy is actually kissing that particular girl, feels like forceful. Okay, my point of perspective feels like forceful. Now another thing is that that boy kind of like simply take off that girl's bra and things like that, and he was kind of like simply kissing her neck and kind of like sucking her balls and things like that. Okay, and it felt like forceful. Okay, it felt like forceful. Okay, let me give perspective. I'm using forceful word. I am not talking about rape at now. I'm gonna talk about rape in the further, but I'm gonna talk about forceful. I'm using word as a forceful. It felt like forceful, but the woman or girl is kind of like having a consent, like she actually give her consent. Okay, yeah. Now another thing. Okay, yeah. The boy is actually kissing. The boy is actually kissing at kind of like a simply every part of her body. Okay, yeah. Now this is kind of like I feel reality of how the people sex. Okay, yeah. Another thing. Okay, yeah. There is a particular thing. Okay, yeah. I watch in the porn. There is a woman do blowjob. Okay, yeah. Now blowjob that you seen on porn, or maybe I seen on porn, it felt like a kind of like a woman enjoying the blowjob, because the way that she kind of like maybe present her way in that. So I kind of like a think that ki blowjob might be a kind of like a somebody women feel really good, right? But this is the first time I seen that the woman, that girl is crying. Okay, yeah. And also this is very disturbing to me. That girl doesn't want to do a blowjob, doesn't want to do a kind of blowjob, but that boy is doing forceful again. What he do is that the girl is actually lie down bed. That boy strip naked, legitly, and sit in front of her face, legit face. Like basically, that boy's pin is legitly in front of her mouth, and like it just felt like that, na ki he was fucking her face, and it felt like, dude, that is legit porn. That's legit rape. It felt like that crime. It's not kind of like a give me arousal. It felt like crime, dude. Like ये बहुत गंदा है. Okay, yeah. The woman, that girl, is crying. The girl says no, she don't want to do this sucking and things like that. She's also kind of like a do like coughing and things like that. Boy didn't really stop. He just, yeah. And this is the first time I kind of like see that thing. The blowjob is like that, dude. Okay, this is just like basically the realization is actually happened to me is that ki blowjob, like I kind of like started imagine myself. Okay, yeah. Is this my thing is like that? Just imagine. Okay, yeah. If I am a girl, would you supposed to suck someone cock? I don't. Okay, yeah. I am a boy. Would you kind of like suck someone vagina? Like, do you have that like a guts to kind of like somebody suck someone vagina? Even if that woman, that girl, or kind of like a really beautiful and things and that, would you have that thing in reality? I don't know. Okay, probably at first I might not do that thing, but if I kind of like a literally kind of like a wanted to do a fantasy or kind of like enjoy more sex and things like that, then I might gonna do that stuff. Because let me give you context is that telling a things and doing a things are far more different. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it might be, but probably is this thing. It's kind of like a thing that na ki why am I kind of like feels very differently is because of this is the first time I kind of like seen a real sex, and that's what kind of like feels very weird to me. It felt like that it's a wrong. It's felt like that really wrong to me. The way that boy kind of like doing a force to that particular girl to kind of like suck her dick in such a way that it just feels like that, dude, that is really, really wrong. And that girl is crying. And this is the point I've realized that, dude, this is enough. This is legit enough. But the things are not done yet. Okay, yeah. Now what exactly happened? That boy. Okay, yeah. Let me give you another perspective. Okay, yeah. Imagine there is a particular scene. It's not a scene. A kind of like happened in real life. Okay, yeah. That boy. What did that boy do? The boy kind of like somebody do a force to that particular girl to suck her dick and things like that. She was kind of like resisting, but still somehow she kind of like suck, and she kind of like and he, okay, yeah, he did that thing. And then what exactly happened? That boy left, and he was kind of like wearing the condom. He was out of the frame. Now in the frame, there is a girl lying down. Imagine there is a girl lying down naked and crying. Like, when I seen that, and it's kind of like that particular, almost like a 30-40 second, a kind of like a minute long, kind of like somebody is saying that girl is crying. I was like, what the fuck is that thing, dude? Is that particular girl is kind of like doing this for enjoyment or what? Because I don't really seen that she's actually enjoying. She was crying, legitimately crying. She was crying. She was stripped naked. She was crying, lying down, and she was crying. And she was 17-year-old girl. What should you supposed to be expect that for? It's like, it's a really fuck up thing, dude. It's like my mind's like, this felt like a real wrong. It felt like that this is a wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. But I don't know who do I supposed to blame. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's just jump back. So basically what exactly happened, that boy kind of like simply wear the condom, and right now he was kind of like simply do this penetration. Okay, yeah. Also, okay, yeah. I watch porn and I also seen the penetration. In the penetration, women actually enjoy while do the penetration. At least I kind of like seen that particular stuff, so I do know that. But in this particular video, when the penetration happened, that girl cried again. She is kind of like yelling and things like that. She was kind of like somebody doing and things like that. So because of she was kind of like somebody not yelling too much, but she was kind of like feeling hurt and things like that. So what does that boy do? Boy kind of like take his t-shirt, put his t-shirt on her mouth. Legitly entire t-shirt put her in her mouth so that she won't be able to yell that much louder. Like, bhai, ye legit rape hai. Like, I'm kind of like questioning to myself. This is the real this is the kind of like simply sex with a consent. It looked like that wrong. Like basically it's not like that ki a kind of like a girl doesn't really kind of like somebody doing a kind of like a resistance, and she's kind of like doing a resistance, but she already knew what she's kind of like been through and things like that, and she also have kind of like giving the consent, because yeah. And after all those things, this video feels wrong. I am kind of like assuming what might rape look like that, dude. Like basically in the rape, this might be a very crime scene, dude. Legit, I might not gonna see that particular stuff because I don't really have that much kind of like somebody is this thing that ki this is beyond my thought process, dude. This is the first time I kind of like seen that particular stuff, and it's like, dude, that is really wrong shit. Really wrong. That particular boy put the entire t-shirt on her mouth so that she won't be able to yell. It's like, she might gonna kind of like a faint or things like that. Might be she kind of like somebody just don't have that breath or things. Who does that thing? Maybe I'm kind of like over exaggerated stuff like that. Probably this thing, sex is a messy thing, and yeah, it is a messy thing, and it always be a messy thing. It's not really that kid lovey-dovey thing and both are really enjoying things like that. Like basically you are kind of like exaggerating stuff, because of that you haven't really seen that particular stuff. You haven't really seen this reality and things like that. When you are trying to do a sex in real life, this might be things happen. Might be kind of like somebody, when you do sex with someone, that particular woman might gonna cry. But obviously is this thing, if that particular woman will gonna cry, I will not gonna do the kind of like a forceful and things like that. I will gonna say, yeah, okay, if you are kind of like a hurting or things like that, I'm gonna stop, or I will not gonna do, or I'm gonna make it as soft as possible as it can. I'm not gonna do kind of like a force her to kind of like do things and fuck shit like that. This is feel really wrong to me, and I am kind of like a feel that I feel that this is wrong, and this is really wrong. and I wanted to blame. But who do I supposed to blame? Should I blame that boy? Should I blame my friend who was watching that particular video? Should I blame myself that I'm watching this video? Should I blame WhatsApp to kind of like somebody sharing this video? Who do I supposed to blame? Do I blame to the society that sex happened, but sex is actually happen all the time? So do I blame what? On what? And do I blame that particular guy? Is it kind of like I think that wrong? Is it wrong? Or maybe I just think that wrong. Or maybe it's a right thing. Because I'm kind of like seeing this first time, so I might gonna think it's wrong, but it's not wrong, it's the right thing. What exactly is this thing? The realization actually happened to me today is like felt like really off. And I just like stunned. Oh yeah. Okay. What exactly that you wanted to say? I don't know. I don't really have any kind of like a word. Now I have to be asked question to myself. Okay, yeah. You will definitely gonna do a sex with someone else. Okay, yeah. Would you do that thing? Would you kind of like let her cry? If I'm gonna say no, I will not gonna let her cry and things like that. But dude, in reality things might be very different. Okay, yeah. Because sex is not a kind of like a lovey-dovey thing. And obviously the porn that you are kind of like a seen on kind of like a porn website, these are not a porn, these are not sex, these are not real. Those are performance. Right? And the performance are always look kind of like a really good, really great. In the performance, that women kind of like a say this thing that ki, oh, I love you, this and that, and come to me daddy and things like that. The way that she kind of like a say this thing kind of like a feel like that ki she was actually enjoying and things like that. But in reality that is not. That is true. Okay, yeah. Like basically example is this thing na ki like sucking a dick. Dude, is this thing that ki is the woman really enjoy sucking dick? Because there is nothing really at all. Might be kind of like a boys might gonna kind of like enjoy that particular process, but girls might not. Because there is no kind of like a simply arousal point that women kind of like a feel really sexy when they're kind of like a suck someone dick. It's not happened. Right? So basically it's this thing that when you do a sex with someone, like I haven't done any kind of like a sex with anyone at all, but in the future I might gonna do. So if you are kind of like doing a sex with that someone girl or someone woman, and in this particular context, in this particular procedure, that women are started crying. So would you stop? Would you proceed? Would you what? What are you gonna do on that particular point? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Okay, even if I'm gonna say ki no, I'm not gonna do that thing, I will kind of like stop, and I will not gonna do kind of like that harsh thing and things like that. But in reality things might be very different. And probably is this thing that ki I'm not really sure what I could do on that particular point. But there is a one thing for sure. I will not gonna do force. If that woman says stop, I will gonna stop. Okay, if woman says that she was kind of like a feeling her pain or feel hurtful in this vaginal area and things like that, I also gonna stop. Okay, yeah. It's not really that ki I'm kind of like a craving. Like, yeah, I also craving for this because I also understand ki while doing a sex, you are in another zone. Okay, yeah. You don't want to stop and things like that. But still, I do care with that particular person too. So it's not really that ki I'm gonna kind of like somebody even if say no and I will kind of like keep doing no, I will not gonna do that thing. I'm still not really sure what we're gonna do in the when this thing actually happened, but if she's actually not really comfortable, I stop myself. I don't know, but probably I don't know. It's just like the only answer that I know at the moment. I am not really kind of like giving any kind of like somebody what would I do in that particular context or what would I do in that particular situation. I don't know. But there is one thing I know that I don't know. Because in reality it's very different. Sex is a good thing. It's like sex is a really beautiful thing. Okay, yeah. And this is a beautiful things. It look little bit kind of like somebody is saying that ki, okay, is this thing na ki some of the act or some of the things are really beautiful in its own way. Sex is not a wrong thing. Sex is a really good thing. You kind of like somebody understand that particular person even more in much more better way. You actually connect with your body, which is really good thing. It's really nice and really, yeah. But sex is not the way that it should supposed to be look. Sometimes sex look brutal too, even if there is a consent, but there is a brutal too. I'm not talking about the rape is a legit crime, yeah, but sometimes sex kind of like a look like rape too at sometimes. And this is where I just don't know, should I supposed to, what is at least this thing, is it horny, is it what, I'm not really sure. Because when I watch that particular video, I am not really get that much horny. I feel ashamed that I watched that video. I feel really wrong. I feel that ki I am a criminal to watch this video. Because it's not, because it's kind of like somewhat something encouraged. Okay, let me give you perspective. This video is actually forwarded by my friend. Also, my friend is actually forwarded by that particular someone anyone kind of like a forwarded that video to him. So basically, is this thing, this is a porn video legitly sharing on WhatsApp. I like, dude, WhatsApp should supposed to be protected. Nah, it shouldn't supposed to be, you cannot able to share such a particular stuff. But still, WhatsApp allows you to share that particular thing. And I was like really shocked to see that particular stuff. I was like, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is wrong, I think. Whatever. So this is what I happened. Okay, yeah. And I don't know what should I supposed to say. But it kind of like somebody gives me freedom to talk about this particular taboo topic. And yeah, this is it. Thank you.